What's up, guys? So on the left-hand side, we have Claude Code here using Opus 4.5. On the right-hand side, we have Moltbot, which is Clawdbot. They just had to rename it to Moltbot. And this is the instance I'm talking to through Telegram. And in the middle, we have my Hyperliquid account where I do a bunch of trading through scripts that I vibe coded. And in the middle here, you also have this graphic showing what I've been experimenting with for the last day that has solved some of the problems that I've run into by using Clawdbot in real life. So today I want to talk about what the issues were that I ran into while using Moltbot, which is Clawdbot, and how I've been going around fixing them, and also how you can kind of do the same thing with your trading stuff if you want to use Clawdbot, now Moltbot, for trading. And so let's just dive into one of the problems I face. So one of the issues, as good as Moltbot is, one of the problems is it uses a ton of your tokens if you're not careful. And this is the problem because being on the crypto side, I'm very cautious of security things. And so I didn't give Clawdbot, now Moltbot, that's very hard, my OAuth token to Claude Code. I wanted to give it an API key. So also I can gate it and then also see how much it's using. I used a ton. I even used like a lower model and it still used a ton. And so my thinking is that the way to use Moltbot in the wild is something like this, which is the middle graphic, which is having you in the middle, having Claude Code, if you have Claude Code, do all your coding stuff for you and do it well, and then review it, and then giving it over to Moltbot, which lives in a server, and then having it manage all these scripts for you and actually run them and then watch the output. And my thinking is because Claude Code is not really autonomous where it can go and it goes and does stuff for you, but it always comes back and you're always having to prompt it and do things. But the benefit, unique benefit of Moltbot is that it acts autonomous for you, which is also its detraction because it uses more tokens because of that. But setting that aside, it acts autonomous. So what it will do is let's say you have a script and you're like, okay, I have a script that checks my liquidation level, like I said yesterday. And if you tell Claude Code to run it, it can only it'll only alert you if you programmatically through the code tell it go do this thing if liquidation level gets close or something like that. But with Moltbot, I don't know how they do this, but it must be something else because Moltbot actually can read the code or the logs and then decide on the fly when to alert you if you tell it to. And so my thinking is that you can use Moltbot, you can have it use less tokens by having Claude Code do the heavy lifting of the coding side, get that all done, and then give it to Moltbot almost as like an operations engineer or like a junior dev, in another way, a junior dev, if they're doing less work and more simpler work, and have Moltbot do the actual managing of the scripts and like watching the logs and stuff, similar to what you do for like a new person on your team. And that's been my thinking. It's been working really well for the past day. And so here's an example on the left-hand side where I have this funding script that Claude Code did over here. And it's a little tricky because of like HIP3 and Hyperliquid. If you don't know what Hyperliquid is, it's a perpetuals exchange. And some of the tickers, like Claude Code just gets messed up on because they're like on another part of Hyperliquid or something. I'm not even sure entirely myself, but it works for trading. So as long as it works, that's what we do as vibe coders. We just let the AI figure it out. And so you can see here, a lot of I'm up like, it says $6,900. I'm actually not up that much. It's up like $4,000. But the reason why is because it mean reverts. So in the past 24 hours, it mean reverted down, and then the P&L for the day takes from 24 hours ago. That's why it shows that. It's actually not up that much. But you can also see here, if we expand this a little bit, what I do is I just play a bunch of the tokens. So for example, silver has been on a crazy run. And so if you go to 5 minute and you see here, you can see all my buys and sells. So I just buy when it goes down, sell when it goes up, etc. Play the ranges. And so, but one of the really frustrating parts that I ran into the other day was copper, because copper has a really bad funding rate sometimes. And I think it's this one. And so if you're looking to buy commodities, Hyperliquid is a great place to do it because it's crypto native. But the downside is, you can see here one of the reversions. But the downside is that the funding rate can be crazy. And so I don't know if it shows on here. Yeah, funding rate is 73% annualized, which if you're swing trading is not bad, but it blew up to like 250% or something. And I had like a 10 grand of margin, which was like a 100 grand position because I was using 9x leverage. And then it cost me like $300, which is really annoying, for like 5 hours or something. It was something ridiculous. It just ballooned up. And so what I want to have is I want to have all these, like I do have all these scripts, and so I want to give it to Moltbot so they can run them. And so I just had this one coded up today, which is showing the funding of the commodities that I'm running on right now, because they can get a little wonky, and you got to be careful, like I said, with Hyperliquid with these funding rates. And so if you don't know what funding is in trading, it's the amount you pay for being able to take on leverage for a position. And so when something's really heated, or when there's a lot of people longing it, not a lot of people shorting it, the funding skews, and you end up paying a bunch of money just to be able to have the position open, which sometimes is fine and sometimes is not fine. And for me, it was not fine for this copper one. And so I had Claude Code today make this script. So and I told Moltbot over, you can see my Moltbot instance, I told it to go run the script. So I gave the code from Moltbot, from Claude Code over to Moltbot, and then told it to run it and then make sure it's running. So you can see here it actually went and did it. So I have Moltbot running on my own another server, Claude Code locally, and then it just did all this stuff. So it said like, I'll set up a virtual environment, create the stuff, just run it, and then it actually showed me the output. So I know it actually is running correctly. And then I told it, just like an assistant, you would have an assistant, or like, for example, like the junior dev, you just task them with this. Make sure you run this and see, and then come back and tell me that. And so I'm gonna tell it right now. I'm gonna say, if copper gets above, I wanna know if it's above like 100% annual funding rate, make sure to Telegram message me. You can check in periodically, say every 15 minutes. It doesn't have to be immediate. And so we'll tell it this and we'll see what it says. And this is the cool part of using the AI versus like, well, why don't you just, the other comeback would be like, why don't you just code this stuff or vibe code it? And you could, but then this stuff is so abstract that you could just be doing something else instead of having to think of all the details of this stuff, of like going into the server and running something, etc. You could just tell this, just like you'd have your own dev working for you. It's amazing. So it's here. It says, I'll set up a monitoring system to check the funding rates every 15 minutes and alert you if it exceeds 100% annual funding rate. So I'm assuming it's going to be monitoring thing, but let's see. Let's see if it actually does what it says. And this is why I said junior dev, because I'm actually also running this on a lower token model, because like I said, it was blowing through so many tokens. It wasn't going to be sustainable if I didn't do this. Okay, so I just tested the script again, and it's going to run it on the cron job. Perfect. So it's going to set up the cron job for me. And the cool part is, like, let's say I wanted to do like 10 minutes. It would be smart enough to go and kill the script and then restart it. So my thinking is that if you want to do a bunch of your trading stuff and make it automated, then you can use this Moltbot thing, which everyone's been talking about, to run your scripts for you and alter them. And then you can, like, for example, you could be like at the gym and you could be like, yeah, do this for, let's take another ticker here. Let's go to HIP3 and look. What's a bad funding rate? Let's do, let's say you want to do USAR. I don't even know what that is. Is that a stock, maybe? I think they have natural gas in there. Yeah, nat gas. Okay, so let's say you had nat gas. Like you're doing natural gas spotting. And you're like, okay, now I want to add this. So then you just like Telegram message the thing, and it would add it for you. That's amazing. That's like cuts down so much of your time. And so that's my thinking with that. And I've been experimenting a lot with this. And so like I said, there's two problems I see with Moltbot. The first one is the token usage. You have to be careful about that. You just have to mitigate it by doing smart things. Second one is security. It runs locally, but you always have to be careful with these things with prompt injection and other things with the LLMs. And so don't open up. If you're running this thing, just do it, like run it locally, which you won't have to worry unless you change something. Like you just install it like this, you'll be fine. But some people are like running it on a host and then opening up the host, and then someone else can go in the gateway. Gotta be careful about that. But overall, like I said, I'm very impressed with this thing, and I think the opportunities are endless. It just takes like actually figuring out what can this thing do for you, or either make you money or save you time. And it could definitely save you time. Depending on the task, is also make you money as well. And so that's what I've been doing for this the past couple days, experimenting with this thing, and I really like it. And this is my flow right now. Just to reiterate, it is you make the tough stuff in Claude Code, and then you pass it over to Moltbot to run and manage, and then you can easily talk to it even when you're not at your computer. So again, I think these AI tools are super cool. I think every day there's something new that can either help you, like I said, save you time or make you money. And so if you guys are making anything with this, let me know in the comments, because I'm always open to new ideas as well. I just primarily use it for trading, but I'm always open to other ideas too. And so that's it for today's episode. If you guys need any help with Moltbot, let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys in tomorrow's episode.